What's up, everyone? It's been a minute. It's your girl Rossie. I'm back with another show. Tonight, I have with me Sacramento director, writer, producer from Ram Productions, Robert Ajay. So I want you guys to welcome Robert Ajay to the show. What's up, Robert? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rossie.
Thank you so much. So we were going to do the show last week, you guys, and we all have real jobs here that we do. This is our dream that we're living, but we have to keep that dream going by working. So I have to go into work. So, and congratulations on your new position, Robert.
Thank you.
This is Robert Ajay, you guys. He's from Ram Productions here in Sacramento. He's a local filmmaker, and he has. Gosh, you have so many films. I was looking at your YouTube channel. You go back way, like you've been doing this for some time. But he's known for, which was really awesome. I got to watch it today, and we'll talk about what is it? Gussie the Clown. Um,
Yes.
Gussie the Clown. The first one was out about 3 years ago, and Gussie is back. Okay, so Gussie 2. Also, I want to read a couple of other films that he has because I checked out Lena and Alex today. That was really good, and I want to talk about the themes in your films that I really liked. Let's see, Lena and Alex. We have Gussie 2, Gussie the Clown. The first one about 3 years ago. You guys, really funny. I love the message that Robert has in each of his films that I found that stuck out to me. We'll talk about that. We also have, let's see, Friends in the Future with a good friend of mine who's just been such a sweetheart and came on Rossie Talks in the earlier days when I was over only on Movie Lovers Unite, Bunny. And then
Oh,
we have, of course, Lena and Alex. And a lot of the actors I have seen at film festivals. I've seen them in other films. So you have a good crew with you. Sacramento is really big here in films and music, and there's just so much that goes on here. And the community is just a very helpful community. When I started, you jump on someone's film if they needed extras, you just, devote your time to make sure that everyone's project came out the way that they wanted it. And I really like that about Sacramento, me being from Portland, Oregon. It's different here, and it's a nice, small, tight knit community, and I like that. But what got you into filmmaking, Robert?
well, actually, I started doing theater acting since I
Okay,
was 12 years old, and I've done
nice.
that for many, many years. I've done it for community theater all through these lives. And then the pandemic hit, and just like everywhere, everything
Right,
shut down and turned into virtual.
right.
So then I had discovered from a friend of mine about a nonprofit program for students with disabilities called
Okay,
Futures Explored.
okay,
So I attended that during the quarantine year, and then I started learning about all hands on with filmmaking and for directing and writing and all sorts of bases of filmmaking.
right.
And then once we started getting in person, that was when I started learning like in person skills. And then that was when it got me into switching tables by going
Okay,
into from theater acting into filmmaking.
okay.
And Ram Productions has been born since July 2022.
Very nice, very nice. I was a theater kid myself. I wanted to be a stage actress when I got into acting. I started out on the stage. I absolutely loved the stage. Such a good time. And then I moved to behind the stage. I started building scenes for productions, and I really liked that. When I got on film, though, that changed my life. It was a totally different monster. But I tell the story all the time, being a stage actor and going to film, with stage acting, you project a lot. So it's a lot of emotion. And I remember being on film for the first time, and I had this emotional part that I had to do, and I was auditioning for it. And I was just like, here I come, here is this part. And I remember director saying, you're from theater, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm like, how can you tell? He's like, because your projection, you need to learn to bring that down for the camera.
Mhm.
Being that you are from theater and moving to camera directing, Did you have that issue? Was it hard to switch from that and then going to directing something on film?
Pretty much, yes, because there were a lot of, like you say, like that there's two different characteristics between theater and film acting.
Right,
For theater acting, there's all these jazz and rehearsals, and you got to get
right,
the preps up and the props and sets, and then you got to project your voice and go, hello there, and all that
right,
using your theater voice. For,
right,
for film acting, it's all just pretty much just a pretty flexible in a way because everything happens all in one day. You can do as many rehearsals behind
right,
camera, and then once you're happy with the take, you're able to move on. Versus
right,
with theater, it's kind of like, oh, we got to do this again. You got to speak it
right.
yourself, and even if altogether, if you forget a line, you can ad lib and you can improv, and
Yes,
then the
right,
audience will forgive you about it. But then
right.
there calls for, oh, we got to do another take.
Right, right. Um, watching your films and, there's a theme in each film, at least with Gussie. I find that you deal with a lot of social issues, like with the
Mhm,
character, what Gussie was going through in that film. And then with Lena and Alex, um, dealing with a child with autism
mm,
and Dunked. Um, Dealing with a person that's in a wheelchair playing basketball. Are
mhm.
all your films like that? Because I love how you do that. I love how you're getting something and there's a message from each of your films. And we'll start with Gussie. How did you come up with Gussie the Clown? Did you want to have it to be where your movies deal with social issues and disabilities and bringing that to light in movies?
Yes, I like to give, like, a good teaching moment when
Okay,
each of, like so pretty much every part of my story has, like, at least one character that is
right,
struggling with a disability and tries to achieve a life goal.
right,
And Gussie was where it all first started, and I thought of it as, like, because with a clown, I thought, like, there's no other movie that has to do with a clown with a disability rather
right,
than going to a circus. And
right.
Gussie was based off of my childhood experiences
Lovely.
because ever since I was in elementary school, I felt like that I was always needing help, I needed aids, and that I felt like I wasn't trying to fit in.
Right,
And Gussie, I think for people who have disabilities will be able to understand and relate to Gussie's feelings as they
right.
watch the first movie.
Yeah, yeah, when I did watch the first movie and you get into it and you're thinking Gussie the Clown, so I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Here we go. And then when you get in there and you watch, that's when I was like, okay, did this is a social issue and Gussie's being teased. The R word is being used repeatedly. So it made me think about when I was in school and, you know, being younger in elementary school, I went through some bullying. And so I related to that because, back in my day or, when we were younger, that word is freely used. It's how you describe someone. It's how you it could be anyone.
Mhm,
Um, and so I liked how you tackled that. And I like how you went from the beginning of the movie dealing with Gussie, being made fun of. And then towards the end of the movie, I like how, which each of your movies, there is something that you get out of it. And then Gussie ends up, doing better and everyone likes him and his confidence is built. And then with Gussie too, which I recently just watched that one today. And I like in that one, Gussie's a totally different person because what he went through in the first film. But I like how you brought another character into it where I find that she was being bullied at work. Her boss was overly hard on her. Meeting Gussie, Gussie having a girlfriend, kind of falling
mhm.
in love with Gussie, and him being able to help her because he went through that. And then the same with your other films. So with Lena and Alex, I really enjoyed that film. But I have to point out I love that they're watching an adaptation or parody of the movie Scream. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm watching it and I have, what part I'm going to talk about when he goes to stab her and he pulls out the implant. And I found that really funny because at first I'm like, are they really watching Scream? Okay, I remember some of this. I'm not sure. Then when that happened, super funny. But another movie where you're dealing with, like you said, in every film, you have someone in the film that's dealing with some type of disability. I love that about your films. But with Lena and Alex, um, she's watching a horror film, and then she takes it to where looking at the world as being a horror film, and how she has the mask on, and she's running around with this knife. How did you come up with that concept dealing with a child with autism?
So Alex and Lena was actually based off
Sorry,
of a
Alex and Lena,
recycled,
my bad.
yeah, you're good. I mean, Lena, Alex, Alex and Lena, both ways, whatever you much say it, though. It's my movie. Come on, you gotta insult my title. So anyway, Alex and Lena was based off of a recycled idea that came to mind, and it actually wasn't gonna be a Halloween themed yet.
Okay.
I didn't get into that until, like, a year later,
Okay.
and it was still gonna be the same story summary about a babysitter who gets to meet a child with autism and
Right.
then gets to learn the characteristics and the
Right.
disability.
Right.
And then I thought of it and I thought, like, how I could relate to even back when I was a kid, that what we see on TV, they may think that, oh, this is like something that we do in real life. We
Right.
may punch someone in the face and like, oh, but then we saw it on TV. And
Right.
then people with disabilities, especially for a younger age, may not have that chance to focus or watch by believing that what we see on TV is not the real thing and that it's all make believe and fantasies. And
Right.
so I thought it would be fun to see, especially with Halloween, because originally I was thinking, like, because with Halloween time, there's a lot of disabilities that could go on, like some that are fear of trick or treating. They
Right.
may have um, developed social skills with saying trick or treat, or they have, like, they may grab more candy than one. And I
Right.
thought, rather than doing that, let's take it back into my original idea and turn it into watching a Halloween movie, which what we did see was Scary Movie.
Yeah, scary movie. There you go.
I
Scary movie.
wanted to do, like, a montage of every single movie and then, like, cut and cut, but
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't as helpful, so it just kept
Okay.
giving me Scary Movie, it kept giving me Frankenstein, and I'm like, "Well, the audience isn't gonna know, and it's just going to, because, like, back to the theater theme, every
Right.
audience is forgiving." So, and what's funny too is even a friend of mine from my job was saying that she thought it was like watching an episode from The Nanny, and I was like,
Okay. Okay.
"Okay, you're
Yeah.
not wrong there. This is actually like The Nanny because she got fired from one job and then she moves to the
Yep.
next family and then makes friends with the kids." So,
Right.
like, "Okay, you're not
Yeah.
wrong there."
Right.
So, The Nanny with Alex and Lena, just Lena needs an old nasally voice. I wish I thought
Y
of that.
you know, you did a great job, though. You really did a great job. Let's go back to being a child. You said that you started, in the entertainment field as an actor on stage,
Mhm.
and you mentioned some of the things that, your films reflect, like Gussie, for instance, reflect your childhood. Were you a shy kid? Were you a quiet kid? What type of kid were you? Because for me, I was a really quiet and very shy kid. So for me
Mhm.
to get on stage was something that kids like us just would not do. But for some reason, there was something about being on that stage that I loved, enjoyed, and the camaraderie and drama class with kids that were a little different than other kids in school.
Mhm.
What about you?
So I was actually the total opposite of a shy
Okay.
kid. I was more
Okay.
so the outgoing. In fact, I was
Okay.
too outgoing, and there has been some hiccups in the past, like some that I had not learned about appropriate social skills and
Okay.
ways of speaking and trying to communicate with a female
Okay.
position. So it's like some ways, and as elementary school kids,
Yeah.
we're trying to learn and that we understand the characteristics and the social skills and the
Okay.
appropriate ways to handle with people. And so in fact, I was too outgoing.
Okay.
And as I got older, sometimes, like, I even got in trouble once for speaking too much. And like, well, would you rather me be shy and not and be the
Hey.
skinny kid who always gets in trouble?
Right, right.
And
Not
then
me, dude. I was really shy, very quiet. Like it was hard for me to communicate with other people that weren't my cousins or just family. So at school, I was a good student, but very shy. And I got into I loved spelling bees. I loved, doing spelling bees. So I would audition or try out for anything that would put me on the stage. I mean, I would do productions of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which was really odd for me because
mm,
being that shy, getting on stage, like I said, that world I just really enjoyed. And I was a kid that loved films. I would sit and watch old black and white films with my mom. So, and I daydreamed a lot. I was a daydreamer. So I would watch a film and escape into that world and wanted to be a movie star and all that. So I did everything I could do to get on stage, and then meeting other kids that were like me, in, drama class and everything, even made me want to do it even more, but it helped me with my confidence. It really did. I say that theater and acting kind of saved me because, with speaking skills, to where I was on a debate team and just any and everything like that. Were you a kid that was fascinated by movies? Did you love movies, and what were your favorite type of movies? You
every
go.
single Disney movie and action movies, and I was always want to go to the movies a lot.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess that's how the whole movie industry all got started because you wouldn't be a big movie buff if you weren't into movie making,
Right.
and somebody not even understand the behind the scenes and the
Right.
camera rules and the social ways of working behind the scenes
Right.
if you're not a movie buff.
Right. So what inspires your creative process? What is it like for you?
Well, I just have a lot of creativity, and a lot of times these story ideas just come to me, and if they're
Okay.
doable in a way, some of them like may even like repeat back, and I think like, oh, this is like something that I reflect back and what I see on around the area. Like for
Right.
example, my other movie, My Angel Friend. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Okay.
Um, my mom and I would watch, Touched by an Angel as
Oh,
a kid,
yes.
which is
Yes.
now released back onto Netflix.
Nice.
And originally, it was going to be, called Guide My Way, and
Okay.
it was gonna be about a girl who was losing beliefs for being a Christian and
Okay.
had to go back to church and then try to learn about the teaching ways of how Christ teaches us, and but I couldn't think of a good middle.
Okay.
So then I had to rechange that, and then with Touched by an Angel, then I thought like that would be fun to see an imaginary angel friend that speaks to you.
Right.
So my angel friend
Nice.
came to play, and it made much more sense, and it gave a good lesson on that you can do anything if you put your mind to it, which is what I
Right.
love to tell people and to teach them
Right.
whenever we get down in the dumps or we lose hope. We
Yeah.
just go, you know what? You know what? You just go right back up. You can do it. You have faith. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody rain on your parade, and
Right.
you can do it.
Right. I absolutely agree with you on that. When you are shooting like a film like that, how long is your shooting process? I mean, for Gussie, for instance, I know
Mhm.
they're short films, but it takes a lot to make a film. How long did it take you to make Gussie, and what wanted you to make Gussie too?
So Gussie took like about just 2 days,
Okay.
and originally it was going to be 1 day, but because since it was my very first film
Okay.
ever that I did by myself, I wanted to take time.
Okay.
And Gussie 2 actually was based on the high majority and the viral of how well the first Gussie movie went,
Okay.
and I thought like, "Wow, okay." And then after seeing that there were so many views and teachers everywhere
Right.
had shared it with their class, I thought like, "Wow, this is great. This is actually
Right.
greater than what I thought it would be." So I think, and I even asked my audience and said, "Would you prefer to see a second movie?" And they were all like straight on yes. And then after the second one came up, more virals had happened, and
Wow.
coming up this weekend, I'm shooting a third Gussie movie.
Are you really?
Yes, this will
I
be the
want to
third
mention,
final Gussie.
let me mention, okay, so Gussie 2 was the official selection for the SAC Film Challenge 2024. Congratulations to you on that. Also, let's give them props. It was starring Robert Michaels, Larry Glenn, Lorena Murray, William Haggerty, Lincoln Manuel. Um,
Mhm.
Working with actors and directing a film, how do you deal with that? You're bringing more people on. Do you deal with, I mean, because, we actors, we could be a little bit much at times, you know? How
Yeah.
do you deal with that? The different personalities and getting things together. How does that, how do you deal with that?
Well, I just pick with certain people that I know that I can trust and who can fit into the character. And if there's a certain person that I have in mind, I would
Right.
reach out to them through telephone, through
Yes.
Instagram, through Facebook, and I would ask them if they would be interested, and I would tell
Right.
them, tell the story, tell them all about it
Right.
and what their character is like and what I'm looking for, and then I would have them do like a video audition, or
Okay.
if I feel like that, oh, their personality is just what I'm looking for, then I
Right.
would offer the role right away. And most
Right.
of the time they would say yes. Or sometimes
Yes.
when life gets in the way, when they say no, we move on to the next people.
Right.
And
Right.
then I think like, and I try to work with a collaborative of characters, like some new ones and some of the people that I trust and that I like to work with from my previous work,
Right.
friends that I know well, and that once I see that they do well, and then we bring them together. I mean,
Right.
social media is everybody's friends when it comes
Yes.
to Facebook or Instagram. You can
Right.
reach out to them fast, and then
Yes.
you could even find people that you never worked with before.
Right.
And then all I do is just shoot them in text or message. And then for the new people, I introduce myself and then I tell them what I'm looking for, and then
Right.
shoot them a video audition. They will send
Nice.
them back to me later on whenever they can.
Right.
And then once I find confidence and I feel that they match, then I would offer it to them, and we would do a table read on Zoom right before we start a new project.
Nice.
And then we officially get started right on the day of, which will be this weekend of Gussie 3.
I was, I asked you that because a lot of people, I've spoken to people that, I work with, or, just in life that, find out that you're in the creative field or you're acting or whatever. And they always want to know, how do I go about doing that? If someone is, casting, how do I go about reaching out to them? So I appreciate you describing that process, because a lot of people want
Mhm.
to know, and there's a lot of people that want to get into what we're doing, but they think it's harder than what it is. And I mean, it's hard work, but thank you for giving out the steps, because it's not as hard if you really look. And I want to ask you about the community here in Sacramento. How do you feel about our community, as far as our acting community, our artistic community here in Sacramento?
Oh, I feel like that it's all like we're a big family.
Yes.
We're more friendlier, and all of California, and like some who live down in LA, some could live around in Sacramento or Roseville. I mean, we're all friendly. And what's most nice is that once everybody gets together, because we're all like a community, some
Right.
would even adapt from like theater. Like, there are some actors that I've worked with that only were into theater acting, and I would teach them the same ways that I learned with film acting, and that
Right.
we're pretty much all the same, but with different traits, like we talked
Right.
about.
Right.
And each of them, like we're all together, and we're like what I tell everyone, life is a stage. Once you're out the door, it's like you're on there and you're putting on a show, you're getting
Right.
to know new community
Yeah.
people, and we're all a big family.
That's so funny. My mom describes it like that. She used to, you know, put it to me like that. Life is a stage. And when you go
Mhm,
out there, you're on. You're on.
mhm.
And so I like the way that you describe that. Filming is expensive. How do you deal with the revenue? How do you deal with balancing that out with wanting to make a project? Is it expensive for those that want to get into directing to do what you do?
It
Is it
can
costly?
be.
Okay.
Yes, and what my biggest advice would be is to balance yourself and to set a budget because every metal piece and then like whatever piece of even the camera is so expensive. So expect like
Right.
maybe like 500 or so, depending
Right.
on what camera you decide to choose. Like I have a Panasonic Lumix camera,
Nice.
which that was a Christmas present that was given by both my parents, and that was the
Nice.
first ever film piece that I ever got. And then little by little, and throughout my jobs, and even my current job that I have now, we work together, and I balance through Amazon, and then I try to make sure that the story is doable and not too expensive because I can't afford CGI or flying
Right.
dragons or like get on like an Aladdin magic carpet or stuff. I wish I
Right.
can. I
I know,
wish,
right?
but not at this moment. And while I can, every rent and studio can be a bit expensive and wherever
Right.
you go. So it's always good to save and put money aside for future references.
Absolutely. Do you have a team? Do you work with someone? Is there someone that works with you, or do you do it all? You write, direct. Do you have a team? Do you have?
So I pretty much work all by myself, but I
Okay.
do like everyone, we have backups. So like
Okay.
my parents help me out with balancing on what ideas and like what
Nice.
locations we can do, any suggestions, and I would talk it over with my camera and audio and pick certain people that I know and I trust,
Right.
actors, and I always even let my actors, depending on the appropriate times of every scene, if they want to improv or add on
Okay.
to an extra line, and if it's respectfully dedicated to, then fantastic. And
Right.
we always try to work together. Like I'm always like flexible with what everyone goes, rather than
Okay.
like, no, you have to do with what I say, and life's just too short to be blunt. So
Right.
I'm flexible. So whatever it comes to, I'm always open, and I'm like, all right, guys, you're doing great. Let's go.
Yeah, I get that from you. I get this vibe from you that you're pretty chill. Like, the job gets done, but you're very chill, very easy to work with, just a really good guy, good person. Even talking with you through text or, whatever, I get this love that you have. I really do. Your aura is great. So I absolutely wish you the best with everything that you're doing because you're on to something, especially with Gussie. You're definitely on to something. How do you overcome creative obstacles? Have you had to deal with creative obstacles?
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, there could be something like when you may even have to rewrite another draft because, say that an actor has moved away or
Okay.
suddenly can't do it, and it's something that's very important to the story. You may
Right.
have to write a new draft, or you may have to find somebody else to fill in shoes. Like, for
Right.
example, in the second Gussie movie, there were like about 5 drafts that I had to make because
Wow.
of a couple of like absent characters. One
Okay.
actor, my actor who did Amos, couldn't do it because he hurt his foot. So
Wow.
I had to recast a brand new actor to fill
Okay.
in to play as Amos, which he did so well. And it was his
Yeah.
first time ever that doing
Really?
something. And he did so well.
Yes.
And he happened to be one of my coworkers from my previous job that I used to work at.
That's awesome.
But a lot of times you may have to rewrite, but in the end, don't give up. Do it
Yes.
and then make your story happen. No matter how many drafts you have to do. You could even do 10 drafts
Right.
and you can do it. Have
Right.
faith in yourself.
Absolutely. I agree with you. How do you stay current with advancements in technology? Things are changing all the time. Probably
Mm.
from the first Gussie that you did 3 years ago to where we're at now. How do you deal with that in filmmaking and different techniques?
With practice, because
Okay.
of course with the first Gusty movie there was like I edit most of my films, and then each film that I've done, there's a lot of like new tricks and new techniques that I have learned, and
Okay.
thanks to YouTube and different ways that I might have in vision on how my camera and post production should look like, I practice myself up.
Okay.
And the more times and the more editing tricks that I do, I have Filmora, which is a very nice and flexible editing software.
Okay.
And with each time, it just comes naturally, and more practice, and the better you can.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then they go right away to a film festival, at least a certain film festival around Sacramento.
Right. All
And
your
the
films,
second Gussie.
your films are all film festival films. Like you've done quite well in the film festivals, right? I mean, a place
Mhm.
called Sacramento. Are there other film festivals that you will submit your films to?
Yeah, so the first Gussie movie actually was in the first the Cal State Fair that
Okay.
happened earlier this summer, and it
Okay.
actually won too for a reward and recognition, which I was
Wow.
so proud of, and it's framed up in my room.
Nice.
And
Nice.
the second Gussie movie will be shown at Sac Film Challenge, just like the first Gussie movie
Okay.
happened in 2024.
Okay.
And then coming up, it'll be Sacktown Movie Buffs, which was where
Nice.
the second Gussie movie will happen, and hopefully the third Gussie, which
Okay.
after it'll be filmed and completed.
Okay. Can you, I know that the third Gussie is just being made. Can you tell us just a
Mhm.
little bit about the third Gussie? What
I
can
thought
we
you never
expect?
ask.
Oh,
Yes.
you know I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask. Yes. Let's talk about Gussie 3. And then I want to ask you some other things because there's some other fun things on your YouTube channel. And you guys, if you just joined me, I'm Rossie McCree. I'm the host of Rossie's Clubhouse. I'm sitting here with Sacramento filmmaker, director, writer, Robert Ajay from Ram Productions. So we're discussing his very popular film, Gussie. And
Mm.
he has a Gussie 2. And so we're getting ready to talk about Gussie through 3 that's getting ready to be made. So tell us about Gussie 3.
So Gussie 3 will pick up exactly
Awesome.
where the
Okay.
second movie ended. Gussie and Lucy end up being husband and wife, and then Lucy becomes pregnant, and then Gussie and Lucy have a brand new clown son named Randy, and
Awesome.
he has his first day of school, and just like both his parents, he gets bullied by a
Okay.
fellow clown student
Right.
who calls him the R word and
Right.
all the same characteristics, just like the first Gussie in the second movie happened. And he vents to his parents, and then all together they find out who the clown bully was, only to find out that he is the son of the mean bully, Earl,
Wow.
who
Okay.
bullies Gussie in the first movie.
Right.
And Gussie struggles with his first job in the meantime, so
Okay.
he's going through a lot with new parenting life while struggling with his first job, just like we all do
Right.
with the first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome, Robert. That's really cool. Um, let's see. How do you approach feedback and criticism of your work? Because everybody has something to say. Do you deal with
Mhm.
that? How do you deal with that? Because I find criticism to be good, but not mean criticism. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so just like with everyone, like I take criticisms very well,
Yeah.
and depends on the attitude and the personalities that they may say. Like if it's say like, "Oh, it's garbage," though, then it's like, well, you're no piece of charge yourself, you know? You
Right.
go talk to my lawyer, but, like, if it's something great, then I would be able to handle it well, and I would make notes and try
Yeah.
to bring it, because my goal is to make my films the absolute best, most famous, like everyone sees now on YouTube,
Right.
and a great way for it to be shown and be talked about.
What are your goals? What do you want to do with your filmmaking? Let's get deeper into that. Where do you want to go? Where do you what other type of films do you want to make? I mean, what's your plans? Because gosh, I looked at your channel. You have so much that you do.
Mhm.
What are your dream goals?
Oh, my dream goal is to be like a Hollywood actor, and
Okay.
then to be chosen to direct some films like out by Hollywood, out by
Okay.
LA, and even like feature films around in Sacramento if
Yeah.
possible, whatever
Oh
the
yeah.
time gets there. And my goal is to try to like get my imagination across, and by wanting to make sure like that every film is enjoyed, and that it's all shown, and that it's they know that it's done by me.
Do you still do acting, right? I mean, you still are
Yes.
you still with auditioning and with your filmmaking.
Mhm.
How is that balance for you? Because
Yeah,
acting can be
so
so, it's a lot.
yeah, so just like everywhere, whenever your regular schedule allows you to, and
Right.
most of the time, filmmaking happens on a weekend when
Right.
everybody is free and when there's no tight schedule around
Right.
your day schedules like everybody does, then it'll happen, and if it happens, it'll happen. And of course, hey, you're looking at Gussie right here, and the third Gussie is coming up this weekend, so of course I would have time.
So I noticed something on your channel I thought was really funny. I love the Beavis and Butthead little
Oh,
clips that you do. I think those are really funny. What's the thought behind that? Was that just something to mess around with? They're really funny little
oh,
skits.
yeah, even during quarantine, I learned so much of how to do stop motions.
Yes.
So stop motions are like
Okay.
these toy figurines that come to
Yeah.
life right before your eyes, like The Nightmare Before Christmas and, like you said, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right.
They are one shot and then it moves, a still frame goes to a next, so it looks like that they're walking on air or
Right.
walking on the countertop. Like, ever since quarantine and at the Futures Explored program, I have learned so much about stop motion, and when an idea comes to me, it's just for fun and pleasure,
Yeah.
shits and giggles, like, in a way.
It's great. They're absolutely funny. I was going through your channel and I saw the Beavis and Butthead ones, and I go to them. And I'm like, I wonder where he got this idea from. They're really funny though, so I think that's awesome. You guys will be able to link up to Robert's channel, Ram Productions, and check out the movies that we're talking about. Check out Gussie 1 and 2. You guys watch those and the other movies that I talked about. I want to give a shout out to Bunny Stewart, who is one of the hardest working actresses here in Sacramento. What I love about her is, besides the fact that she's super sweet, she's always helping out. I notice in everyone's film. Bunny has been in so many films, commercials. She does so much. How did you hook up with her to be in? Was it Future Friends?
So what's funny too is, she was a facial technicians for me and my
Okay.
mom years ago when she would do our
Really?
eyebrows and our facials, and
Okay.
later on, then, like all of us, we have done theater experiences where I
Yeah.
took a stage makeup class, and she was
Okay.
there when I was, like, 16 years old,
Wow.
and then later on, she did makeup for my mom, who remarried my stepdad in
Okay.
2013. So
Okay.
then and then film acting came, and then I reached out to her, and she did Friends in the Future,
Friends in the
and
Future.
she's actually a cameo in Gussie 3
Oh,
coming
real?
right up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I adore her. One of the sweetest people that I met, going to one of the California Film Foundation meetings that they used to have at a library years ago, and I met her, and she was so super nice, so super helpful. Came on the show, did an interview. It was a stormy night that night, but she's always been really great, and I noticed that she'll lend a hand in everyone's film. She's a really good actress, and she's super funny. I love that
Mhm.
you get to see that side of her because she's absolutely gorgeous, and you don't think that this beautiful person has this personality, or very witty, very comical. So
Yeah.
I want to shout out to Bunny. So besides Gussie 3, what else are you working on?
So I'm gonna be also after Gussie 3, there's gonna be a new project coming in October, and it's gonna be called Frankenism.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like a Frankenstein kinda way,
Okay.
and it's about a girl who misses her boyfriend after a accident, and she recreates her boyfriend into a Frankenstein type like monster.
Awesome.
And little did she know that the brain of the monster has the brain of a person with autism. And so
Really?
she learns about the characteristics of what autism is and what they're like and what the monster is. And then in the end, she wins a science fair in
Nice.
and I wanted to make it as, like, kinda the same way as, like, how Tim Burton would make it, or
Okay.
I made it into a fan base, like, a combination of Edward Scissorhands and Weird Science.
I love that. I love that. I like your mind. I like your imagination. I like where we're going. Is there anything that you want to say? This is your moment. Talk to people. What's coming up? How they can follow you? Please, this is all you right now.
So you could find Ram Productions 94, which will be shown on YouTube. I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm even on TikTok. I just developed that about a month ago. And Ram Productions is just popular around Sacramento. I have all my contact information in there. And if you bump right into me, I'm happy to give you my business cards, and they're shown across to all your friends and your family. And we are all trying to make our films and life well educated and bring up with entertainment into our world.
Absolutely. And one thing, again, for those out there that want to sit where you're sitting, do what you're doing, and for those out there with disabilities that think that this world is not for them, please say something to those folks because they are absolutely wrong about that. Let them know, please, Robert.
Absolutely, yes. You can do it. I have faith in you. All it takes is, and even if it's your phone,
Yes,
make that into a film because
yes,
that's what filming is all about. And hey, it could be a crappy one, but you know what? It's your first film ever.
right,
First films aren't always supposed to be Picasso or picture perfect, but the more you
right.
practice it, the better, and all your techniques will be resolved and improved better each time.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And to those out there, to you people that have certain disabilities, autism, whatever it is, you can do it as well. You can be an actor, you can be an actress, you could be a producer, you could be a director. That is not off limits to you, okay? And if you go and check out Robert's films, you will see those actors, actresses in his film that are living with disabilities and they're doing it, and you can too. So I'm so happy that you brought that up. I love the themes in your films. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You guys, this is Robert Ajay, Ram Productions here in Sacramento. Um, the interview will drop soon, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I really hope that you enjoyed this interview. For those of you future filmmakers, future actresses and actors, I hope to be interviewing you here on Rossie's Clubhouse. This is Robert AJ, you guys.